Kelvin Gastelum and the Robert Whittaker fight is off. A couple of quick points I want to mention for this. Number one, Kelvin Gastelum, he's walking around with, I'm assuming, Henry Cejudo's belt, claiming that he's the champion, claiming that, he's professional and he may wait and this and that. Keep in mind, man, this guy's manager is the same as Khabib's manager, and I have no doubt that he definitely put some words in Kevin's ear and or Kelvin's ear. There is no way Kelvin, of all people, this is the same guy who missed weight 3 separate times. He missed the weight against Tyron Woodley more than 10 pounds. You guys remember at UFC 205, he was supposed to fight Donald Cerrone at 170 pounds. And then, like, the day of the weigh-ins, he announced on Twitter that he can't fight. He's not going to make the weight, and the card has been pulled. Literally, Cowboy already made weight, but Kelvin, the day of the weigh-ins, couldn't make it, his 3rd time. And basically he was saying, like, oh, no one's perfect, we all have bad days. So I know he's not on camera with a belt that's not his and claiming that he's professional and he's the true champion, he's this and that. Like, of all people, listen, I'm a big Kelvin fan. I think this is a very tough matchup for Whittaker. I know most people had picked Whittaker, but Kelvin Gastelum's skill speaks for itself, man. This guy is going to be a champion in this weight class, or maybe he goes back down to 170. But this guy definitely has all the tools to be a champion. But he's not the guy to talk about missing weight or pulling out of fights. He's done that. He pulled out of fights multiple times. He missed weight multiple times, and he did this exact same thing where his opponent made weight, and then he was like, you know what, I can't make weight, and then the fight was off. And then after that shenanigans, he was forced up to middleweight permanently by Dana White. So the fact that he's walking around with this belt claiming that he's this and that, and come on now. It's not like Robert Whittaker can't fight because he failed a drug test, or he did something stupid outside of the cage, he got in some trouble with the law, or he missed weight. The dude has hernia and he's having surgery right now for it. If you want to talk about a bad day, it happens. Now, as far as, people talking about him being stripped, I don't think the man should be stripped. The hernia, it's not like he broke his leg. If he broke his leg, he's going to be out for, 6 to 9 months. You got to strip the man. But as far as hernia recovery time, you're looking at about 3 weeks when it comes to recovery, and about 6 weeks when you can do strenuous exercise. So you can delay this fight for another 3-4 months. Like, he can fight in June, in the summertime, against this guy right there. And so I don't think he should be stripped. This is also what happens when the card is top heavy. At the press conference, Dana White was asked if the card was top heavy, and he kind of scuffed at it, saying like, well, you got to wait until after the fight, this and that. But listen, we all know there was 2 cards that everybody wanted to watch, 2 fights on this card. The main event, the co-main event. The main event is now gone. Okay, so now the co-main event is a new main event, and the guys that were supposed to fight on the fight pass, or all the way back in the prelims, they're now the co-main event. So if that doesn't tell you that the fight card is top heavy, come on, it is a top heavy card. And unfortunately, when you have a situation like that, these things can happen where the fight literally falls out the same day and there's no replacement. So you already have a top heavy, two co-main event, main event, and the rest of the card is thin. And now one of those fights is gone. Well, now what do? Well, you're going to offer refunds, and that's what the UFC is doing. They're offering refunds to people. But what about all the people that bought the pay-per-view? Are they going to get refunds? Should the UFC reduce the pay-per-view prices for this? There's a lot of questions that needs to be asked, but for me as a fan, a UFC fan, honestly, this doesn't bother me at all, man. These things happen frequently. Like, if you've been an MMA fan, if you've been a UFC fan, this shouldn't bother you. All right, this has been happening. All right, we've seen fight cards get canceled. Never mind the fight. Literally, the entire card getting scrapped, due to fights getting pulled. We've seen that. We've seen fights get scrapped the day before the fight, the day of the fight, the week before the fight, a month before the fight, whatever the case might be. So if you're a fan, man, this really is nothing new. It happens. So I hope Robert Whittaker, he's a great champion. He's fought everybody. Unfortunately, it happened. I hope he makes a speedy recovery. Kelvin needs to put down this fake belt and reschedule, man. In the June, they can fight, and we'll see who the true champion is. Again, I believe Kelvin has all the skills to be a champion, but he's got to beat the champion to be the champion.